Inflation and unemployment, two economic woes that have plagued policymakers for decades. For years, economists believed in a simple trade-off. Less unemployment meant more inflation, and vice versa. This trade-off, visualized by the Phillips curve, seemed to hold true for a while. However, the relationship isn't so straightforward. The Phillips curve, named after economist A.W. Phillips, suggests an inverse relationship between the rate of inflation and the rate of unemployment. When unemployment is low, businesses compete for workers, driving up wages. This increase in wages often leads to higher prices, as businesses pass on their increased costs to consumers. Conversely, when unemployment is high, there is less pressure on wages and inflation tends to be lower. The Phillips curve isn't just an academic concept, it has real-world implications, influencing government policies and impacting people's lives. The Phillips curve is most relevant in the short run. In the short term, there can indeed be a trade-off between inflation and unemployment. Governments, through monetary or fiscal policy, can stimulate the economy, boosting demand and lowering unemployment. However, this often comes at the cost of higher inflation. This short-run trade-off is represented by the Short-Run Phillips Curve, SRPC. The SRPC illustrates the inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment in the short term. It suggests that policymakers can choose a point on the curve, accepting a certain level of inflation for a given level of unemployment. This trade-off, however, is not sustainable in the long run. Imagine the government stimulates the economy, leading to lower unemployment and higher inflation. Initially, people might be content with higher wages, even if prices are rising. But as inflation persists, people adjust their expectations, leading to a wage price spiral. In the long run, the Phillips curve looks quite different. The Long-Run Phillips Curve, LRPC, is vertical at the natural rate of unemployment. The natural rate of unemployment, also known as the non-accelerating inflation rate of unemployment, NAIRU, is the level of unemployment consistent with stable inflation. In the long run, the economy will always tend towards this natural rate, regardless of the inflation rate. The vertical LRPC implies that there is no trade-off between inflation and unemployment in the long run. Attempts to push unemployment below the natural rate will only lead to accelerating inflation. The LRPC highlights the importance of focusing on sustainable economic growth and policies that promote price stability. Section 4. The role of expectations. As we've seen, expectations about inflation play a crucial role in the dynamics of the Phillips curve. When people expect higher inflation, they adjust their behavior accordingly, demanding higher wages and accepting higher prices. This can lead to a self-fulfilling prophecy, where expectations of inflation actually cause inflation to rise. There are two main types of inflation expectations: adaptive and rational. The type of expectations prevalent in an economy can significantly impact the effectiveness of economic policies. Section 5. When supply shocks happen. The Phillips curve can also be affected by supply shocks. A supply shock is an unexpected event that disrupts the supply side of the economy, leading to changes in prices and output. Negative supply shocks, such as oil price spikes or natural disasters, can shift the Phillips curve upwards, leading to higher inflation and higher unemployment, a phenomenon known as stagflation. Positive supply shocks, such as technological advancements or discoveries of new resources, can shift the Phillips curve downwards, leading to lower inflation and potentially increased output. This can lead to a period of low inflation and low unemployment, a desirable outcome for any economy. However, it's important to note that the impact of supply shocks, whether positive or negative, tends to be temporary. Section 6. Navigating the policy landscape. The Phillips curve, with all its complexities, presents a significant challenge for policymakers. It highlights the trade-offs and limitations they face when trying to manage the economy. The key takeaway is that the relationship between inflation and unemployment is not static. It is influenced by expectations, supply shocks, and the time horizon considered. Policymakers need to be mindful of the short-run and long-run implications of their actions. A focus on sustainable economic growth, price stability, and policies that foster rational expectations is crucial. By recognizing its limitations and considering the broader economic context, policymakers can make informed decisions that promote long-term economic well-being.